Hey, it's Williee Armellini from Flowers and Scents with your floral industry buzz. Okay, so today I'm going to interview Jazmin Albarran, the executive director of Seed Your Future. Now, I've been wandering around these shows for a lot of years, and I've been bumping into Jazmin, and I finally said, okay, let's see what you're up to here, because Seed Your Future sounds really interesting, but we need to know more about it. I believe it's all about trying to recruit people into the agricultural business. So, without further ado, let's talk to Jazmin. Okay, Jazmin Albarran. That wasn't good, but anyway, the executive director of Seed Your Future. So I've been sort of following you a little bit, bumping into you at various shows, and I figured, okay, what is she up to? What is this all about? And I went poking around your website, and it's actually quite impressive. So my first question was, who's behind all this? Because I know what it takes to run a website. They're not simple and get them up and running and accurate and all that stuff that mine doesn't do so well these days. And so there's, it's not just you peddling this all yourself. So what's going on back there? What's this all about? Tell me.
Well, thank you for that curiosity, Willie. So Seed Your Future is a team of one. I am Seed Your Future as far as the staff, but we hire contractors to help us support the website, building collateral. And then we also have some support from SAF team that helps me with some of the marketing and some of the administrative tasks that need to be done to help Seed Your Future move forward. So it's a small team, but mighty. And as you can see, a lot of time and effort has been put into those materials. When Seed Your Future was first kind of being envisioned by volunteers, they wanted to get a better understanding of, well, what does Seed Your Future need to look like? And they did 3 phases of research. Phase 1 was asking industry, why can't you find employees? What are the issues that you're having and what kind of help do you need? The second phase was doing a telephone survey across the country, asking the general public if they knew what the word horticulture means and what are their perceptions. We learned not many people know what that means, let alone floriculture. They're more familiar with ag than all of the other plant sciences. And the perceptions were negative, right? People were saying that we're playing with plants. They're saying that this industry is not professional compared to being a doctor or a lawyer or other professions. And they don't believe there is professional growth within this industry. And in the third phase, we talked to students and asked them, what do you know about careers working with plants and how do you want to learn about them? And in all of those years of research, we learned, okay, we have to be at the highest caliber possible because of those perceptions of the general public. We have to show them the value, one, of plants and flowers and produce, trees, landscape, but also how professional this industry is, how important this industry is to all of us, and which is why we put in so much money and effort into the resources that we have. And Seed Your Future wants to be a hub of information for anybody that wants to learn about careers in this space, how to find their way here.
And you're working with the endowment as well, or what?
Yes, as well. So Seed Your Future, we list their resources on our website. When I meet students that know they want to go into the floral space, I send them to AFE's website, to their resources, absolutely. Because I'm thinking of Seed Your Future like we're the triage, right? We're the ones that are going to get a lot of students that have questions about plant sciences. And then once we know what niche they want to go into, I can push them into the resources to learn more about those specific interests that they have.
And so where did you come from? What's your background?
So interesting enough, my background is in mental health and youth development. I knew nothing about this world. Loved plants, killed them all, but definitely did love them in my space. My predecessor, Susan Yoder, was the first executive director of Seed Your Future, and she was retiring. She asked me if I would consider applying for the position because of my background in business and communications and youth development, workforce development. And I took some time and reflected. And while I felt like I did not know anything about plants to take this job on, I do believe that they impact our physical, mental, and emotional health. So I applied for the position, and here I am almost 3 years later in May, and it was a steep learning curve. So I started in May of 2021, and then I had to present at Cultivate, which is one of the biggest, or the biggest, conference for the nursery and greenhouses. And just walking into the expo center, my mind was completely overhauled, in getting to know this industry. Right before, I never ever, when I went to a floral shop or I went into a store to buy a plant, not once did I ever wonder, well, where did this plant come from? How did it get here? And walking into Cultivate, it was no longer just the plant, right? It was the container, it was the soil, the inputs, the water, the lighting, from the breeder to the grower to, was it grown in South America and brought here? And so it was just incredible. And the general public has no idea how many careers are touching those plants, how many careers are getting them from the little seed, right, to the plant that's in their home or in their landscape.
And your predecessor, was she from the Yoder brothers family by any chance?
I don't know.
Yoder is a famous name in the industry from a breeding standpoint. So they've been
Yeah, I
around.
don't think so. I don't think so.
All right. So you actually having a background in mental health probably does work, because we're all a little bit crazy to be in this business. And I always say about this business, it's a very big, small business or industry, if you will. People don't really understand how big it is, and yet there's a handful of people, or a big handful of people, that sort of make it all work. It's
Right.
as you go to these shows, the WUSA show where I recently seen you at, they're sort of the movers and shakers there. So again, a couple hundred people make up for a lot of industry.
Absolutely. And the general public and students don't realize how global this is, right? I think because they see plants and flowers on a regular basis, they take them for granted. And again, like me, don't think about where they come from, don't realize all the logistics that it takes to get them from point A to point B, right? And that's what
Hang on
we're
one
wanting to
second.
highlight.
Hang on a second here. Let me do something. Because what you're saying here, forgive this unprofessional walking away from the screen, but so as a result of many of those questions, I wrote this book here. And it says, flowers come from where? Because as you're saying perfectly there, that people don't know that where they come from. They just show up in the supermarket, or show up in the florist shop at your front door, and nobody sort of asks those questions, and when they do, they don't really know the answer. So I'm doing my part to sort of educate some people here, and I will be posting that link pretty soon here on the website, so you know how to find that book. But yeah, it's an interesting business that, and it requires, were you at Next Gen? Did I see you at Next Gen too?
I was there a little, yes, I was there.
Okay. And, that was very exciting, because, that's sort of, there was a lot of seeds in there.
Exactly. That's the future of the industry.
Indeed. And it was really refreshing to see all those young folks in there that were energetic and enthusiastic, and asking questions, and marveled at some of what they learned. Okay, flowers come from where, and seeds come from where, and how do you get this plant to produce this flower, and this color, and this variety? Quite interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also helping them find their network, right? If they feel very connected to the industry, everyone I've talked to says that they stay here because of the people and because of the product, right? So if more young people realize the amount of support they would get in the industry, I think they would want to stay. If they will know how much more technology is being brought, how innovation is really being pushed. But teachers don't know about us as an industry for careers, right? Everyone talks about be a doctor, be a lawyer, be all these careers. No one says be a horticulturist. No one says, and here are the careers in the floral industry. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to equip these teachers with just the knowledge of these are industries with departments just like any other. Here's the professional growth. Here are the type of salaries you can earn. So they can have those career conversations with students. And then we have these different resources and tools that the students can use as they're doing the career exploration to figure out which of all of these plant science careers could be for them. And so we've had a great time of putting all these things together over the years.
So are you getting into the schools?
Yes, and so we work with middle school, high school, colleges, trade schools, universities. We are trying to connect with as many people, teachers and students as possible to make them aware. And we have different ways of doing that. We do social media ads to highlight our resources. And then we also, through partners within the industry, we ask them, like Green Career Week, and here's our logo. And we have this event twice a year, and it's asking industry, connect with the local school in your backyard, talk to the science teacher, the art teacher, whomever will be interested in having you either one, set up field trips, bring students to you so that students can see what it looks like to work in your business, so they can see you as an employer in their backyard. Talk about the careers working with the flowers and the plants, but also the admin, the accounting, the HR, the marketing, the web design, the sales, customer service. When people think about our industries, they think about the florist, the person cutting the grass, and the farmer from overalls in like the 1940s. Like that's what the picture that they have. And while those careers are important, they're not the same as they were envisioning them, right? And so that's what we want students and teachers to see, how this industry has changed so much and it has so much to offer. Everyone that I've talked to absolutely loves what they do. So if we can get these students to see themselves in this industry, a lot of them would be here, right? So Green Career Week is doing that, setting up field trips, bringing students to you, or if you can't bring students to you, go into a classroom, right? Set up a presentation to talk about your company as an employer. Do you have internships? Do you have volunteer opportunities? Talk about your what positions require a degree, which ones do not, how do students apply? So they can start thinking about, okay, especially in the floral industry, students can work for you part-time around what, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, any other holidays. That's a great way to get these students to have that exposure to industry and what some of those jobs might look like. And I've talked to so many people that said, you know, I was pushed into a different career because my parents wouldn't let me be in this industry, or my guidance counselor.
You must learn how to play the piano, even if you've never used it again.
Exactly. And so now we get calls from 30, 40, 50-year-olds that said, I did that career that whomever wanted me to do, that was not my passion. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get into the plant world. How can I do that at my age? So if we can help students find their way here sooner than later, I think it'd be good for everybody, for industry and for them.
Yeah, it sort of lends me to think about there's a collision path here, because the collision path that we were on, that I hope we're not on anymore, is that you had hardworking jobs in the floral industry, growers, wholesalers, whatever. It's not an easy job. You got to get up early and hustle boxes, and it's cold in the cooler and all sorts of things. And many of those children, and I've followed this for many years, so I'm a byproduct of it, perhaps myself. You follow along, and you're like, well, you know, I'd rather go work for Google or, you know, Yahoo or somebody, because that's a nice clean job. I can make more money and I don't have to get my hands dirty. You know, mom and pop are sitting there wondering, you know, how I'm going to run the farm here because nobody wants to participate. However, luckily, because we've come a long way, and now flower companies need social media people, and they need
Right.
computer tech, because now they've got to put their stuff online, and because now the greenhouse is being run by a robot. And so I think in general, you know, you're sort of, it's a balance. You have a lot of negative things working against us to get people in the business, but then there's some positive things because because the industry has changed.
Right, right. And there's so many people out there that love nature, plants and flowers, the outdoors. They just don't realize that they can work in this space, right? I think industry and people in general have done over the last few years a great way of saying, unplug, get out in nature, go for walks, etc. But the conversation stops there. It also needs to include, and you can work in this industry and you can work surrounded by these wonderful products on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and look, we happen to be in a wonderful business because we have flowers to, to deal with. We're not dealing with toothbrushes or stuff. We're dealing with something that's sort of fun and lively and alive. I'm not even getting into the plants and plant parents and such. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. When I go to like Next Gen or WUFSA or a botanic garden, I'll take a quick video and send it to my friends, and I'm like, oh, it's such another hard day at work, right? And they're jealous because I get to be around these beautiful things while they are in an office, right? That might not even have a window. So yes, I think we are in a very beautiful industry.
So where do you go from here? How do you, I guess, are you getting people when you finally get them to get to where they want to be at least interested? Let me talk about it. Uh, do they convert usually? It's like, okay, I found a job. Wow.
So we have heard a few stories, which has been great because I've been trying to find more of those testimonials. We have, excuse me, a young lady that, and we have a blog about her, Alicia Ramirez. She was in billing in the medical industry, and she said, this is a little boring, but she was plugging through. And during COVID, she bought a plant, and then she had 20, and she realized, wait, this is clearly a passion. How do I come into this industry? She jumped on Google, started trying to look for resources that could help her figure her way out. She found the Seed Your Future website, found some of those resources to look at different careers that she might be interested in, and found an associate's program in her neck of the woods, applied, and she graduated in December of 2023. And she's working at a garden center in New Jersey, doing the plant stuff that she's learned and loved to do. So definitely, people are finding their way here at different stages throughout life. So it's been fun to get those stories and know that we are a resource for people that are trying to figure their way out, whether they are in middle school and know they love the outdoors, or a career changer that's realizing that they can't go to that same job they've been going to and want to come into the industry.
Hmm. Hey, well, it's a wonderful thing because we need young people in the industry, and I'm happy that you're doing this. There needs to be people like yourself that are, banging on the drum here to get people get them in line, or at least get them heading in the direction we want them to go.
Exactly.
Maybe that they want to go. So if there's a retailer or a wholesaler or a grower, listening to this, and uh, probably many of them, because they advertise on my website for looking for employees and people that are in the business or to get in the business. Are you a resource for them, or?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a resource for everybody. I want people to know me personally. Send me an email, ask about Green Career Week, how we can help you through this initiative, connected to local students in your backyard, right? These students are future employees, but also future customers. Branding is so important. If they recognize your logo and who you are and what you do, they're going to be more likely to buy from you, right? And be connected to you and your story. This next generation of students, they don't want to just work somewhere. They want to be a part of a passion. They want to be a part of a mission. They want to be a part of solving the issues within our planet globally. So that is the messaging that we need to be sharing. And I love having those conversations with someone in industry that says, okay, I want to figure out, how do I advertise to this next generation of young people? What should I be talking about? How do I reach out to them? So absolutely, I want to be a resource to have those conversations, get more involvement in Green Career Week. We just had the spring one in 2 weeks ago, March 4th through the 8th. We do it twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. The fall dates are September 30th through October 4th. So I'd love to see more folks participating. And again, it could be setting up a field trip, it could be going into a classroom presentation, or participating on social media, highlighting some of your employees, your staff, asking them, why do you love working here? That passion, that company culture is very important to this next generation of young people. And they are on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. So we have to have a presence there, because the minute a young person is going to apply for a job, one of the first things they do is go check out your social media presence and your website. So we have to be able to show up in those spaces so that they can find us.
Interesting. Well, isn't that Good stuff. I like it. I like it. Okay, and I will put your email address up on the website or on this video when I edit it later. And listen, thank you for taking the time to be with me this morning and hang out and tell us more about this because I like it. And again, it's something we've been sort of talking about for years and getting people in the industry, find fresh blood, fresh people that want to, get their fingers dirty a little because it's fun.
Right, I agree. So thank you for having me here and let me share a little bit about Seed Your Future. And again, hopefully floral world will be a little bit more interested in learning about us and connecting with me and seeing how we can help one another bring more people into the industry.
Indeed, and I will do my best to bang that drum and get your pretty face and your message out there to them. So thank you for taking the time with me today, and I will see you around, I'm sure, at various events as our season gets started here.
Yes, absolutely. I plan to be around. We are still very new to the floral industry. So I am trying to, again, bang that drum, get my face out there, get connected, ask questions, learn about the folks so that they can become familiar with Seed Your Future, the resources that we have available to help them connect with that next generation of employees.
Okay, well, I'm going to go seed my garden. How about that?
Thanks, Willie. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, and you'll be seeing this pretty soon, and thanks for your day. Enjoy.
No, absolutely. Thank you for helping me again. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.